Oh, alright, everybody. Enrique Zoltano here. Um, over the past few years, I've been writing stories, and oh my god, they've been fun. And I've written a ton of stories. Um, but I also have a ton of stories in my head, which I haven't written down yet, right? And so I'm drunk. I'm drinking and drunk. So, I want to talk about one of my stories that I haven't written down yet. But it's in my head, and been developing it, right? But it's a fun story. Whether I get it out or somebody plagiarizes it, whatever. It's still a fun story. Okay, so it's a story about Odin and Loki and Thor, and I have a whole series of them. Actually, it's gonna be a series on Thor. Thor is gonna be the main character within these stories. But it's gonna start with Thor, Odin, and Loki and Thor and all that. And in the beginning, so in my story, this is this is not about gods or supernatural magic or divine anything. Like Odin and Loki and Thor are actually gonna just be average human beings, just like you or me, and they're gonna be living in a time of giants, right? When the giants used to live, right? There's all these conspiracy theories that there are giant bones out there and they're being hidden from us, and there's all this, giant stuff. But let's say that there were giants back in the day, um, and so the story's gonna begin with Odin and Loki and Thor, and Odin's gonna be leading everything, and he's gonna lead a revolution against the giants because in this story, Odin and Loki and Thor, these Scandinavian men, are gonna be the short ones, right? And the giants are going to be the tall ones, right? The giants are going to be the ones who have the big dicks, right? And the Scandinavians are going to be the ones who have the small dicks, right? um, but in this world, the giants rule over the smaller folk as master and slave. And Odin is going to lead a revolution against that. And that's the first scene you're going to see. You're going to see Odin uh, in this battle, and he's gonna be leading this battle, and they're gonna win. They're gonna fucking succeed in this battle in this beginning of the movie. And so what's gonna happen is that the giants and these short Scandinavian men are going to sign a treaty, and the giants are gonna say, you guys can have your territory. It's a territorial treaty, you know. You guys have your territory, we have ours. You know, you fucking stay away from our territory, we'll stay away from your territory, and that's gonna be the treaty. Um. Anyway, so what ends up happening is basically, and this story is complete. It's incomplete. It's incomplete. Like if other people could help me, that would be great. Like I want to write with other writers. I totally do. Um, that would be great to write with other writers. But and anybody out there can take these thoughts and just write your own stuff, like, and succeed. Maybe send me some money as some thanks, but you don't have to. Um. Anyways, So what's going to end up happening is that this again that battle's at the beginning of the story, and this battle's going to be dramatic and it's going to be manly and like but like after that, these Scandinavian men become the comedic relief of the story. They do. They totally become the comedic relief of the story. Um, like one of the inspiring things to me about Scandinavian thought is the idea that bravery itself is success. Bravery itself is success. It doesn't matter if you succeed in this world. That's bullshit. If you lose the battle but you were brave, you're successful in the eyes of the Scandinavian gods. Like bravery itself is success. Not whether you succeed in this world or not. And so that's going to be the hook, the emotional hook of the story, right? Because what's going to end up happening is Loki is and it sets up the second story, because I think you're going to have this whole series of adventures with Thor, right? And I don't have them all set down. I've this first story and I have the second story. And I don't have the second story as much as I have this first story, but this is all just plots in my head and scenes too. But what's gonna end up happening is that Loki is the only one of these Scandinavian men who knows how to make beer. He's the only one who knows how to make beer. So what's gonna end up happening is the border between the giants and the Scandinavians is gonna be this river, and the Scandinavians can do whatever they want on the one side of the river. Giants can do what they want on the other side of the river, and nobody can do shit about it. So Loki is going to create this bar, right, where there's not going to be money, but there's going to be bartering, and Loki is going to succeed wildly with this bar. And what's going to end up happening is that these Scandinavian men, this bar is going to be at the edge of this river, and they're going to be sitting around drinking and just watching and just chilling. They're going to be, at the end of the day, they're going to work hard during the day, but at the end of the night, they're going to just drink and chill. But, and here's where my story lacks, because, I have everything else but this, which is the most important part of the story. And what's going to end up happening is, again, on this other side of the river, you're going to have the giants as the masters and the short people, us humans, as the slaves. And you're going to have these Scandinavian men sitting around drinking and chilling, and they're going to be watching this other side of the river. But on this other side of the river, this story is going to take place, where you're going to have this man who has this beautiful heart. This man who has a beautiful heart, but he's a slave. And not only is he fighting against the giants, he's fighting against corruption within his own small human folk, And again, that's where I lack in this story. But they're going to be watching this, and they're going to see this man's heart. They're going to see this man's heart. Like, what's his name? That fat motherfucker. What's his fucking name? Oh, shit. What's that fat motherfucker's name? Oh, my God. He created a lot of black and white movies. He was like the titan of movie making. What the fuck was his name? Shit, he created The Birds and Spying on Your Neighbor. What the fuck was that guy's name? Shit. Anyways, one time he was talking, and he said, oh my God. Like, I know what he said, but I don't know how to say it to you. What did he say? Fuck. He said, you show a man, and you show his face, and then you show, what do you show? You show a fucking I don't know. Shit, what did he say? I know what he said, but I don't know how to say it. Oh my god. Mm. 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 I'm more of an artist than a scientist, obviously. That's where I lack. Anyways. But I mean, it's like these Scandinavian men. They're gonna be watching this story on the other side of the river, but they can't do anything about it. They can't, according to the treaty, right? There's no gods or magic or supernatural shit going on here. This is just real human shit. And they're gonna be sitting there. They're gonna be drinking, and then watching this story of this man who's just fucking struggling. And their beautiful Scandinavian heart goes out to this man, and they're cheering him on, right? Even though he's losing and losing and lose, but he's still, he's still going after it, And they're gonna be cheering him on, and just Now eventually they will. At the end of the movie, they will intervene. They're gonna head over there on the other side of the river, and they're gonna fight. It's just a small little battle, and the giants are gonna be like, "Hey, you're violating the treaty. What the fuck are you doing?" And they're gonna be like, "No, we're not violating the treaty. This guy is ours. Fuck all these other small guys. But we claim this. We'll fight a war for this guy." All these other guys, we're not trying to break the treaty. We're not trying to do anything. But this guy, we claim him as one of us. And we will fight a war for this motherfucker. And if you want to fight a war, then fucking go for it. And so they back off, and they take this guy into their world. And boom, end of story, whatever. I don't know, it just sounds like a fun It just sounds like a fun story. Like one of my favorite stories is The Iron Monkey. I fucking love The Iron Monkey. Oh my god. I think my daughter was conceived on The Iron Monkey. Or after my wife and I watched The Iron Monkey. Like, it's a fun story. Like, it's like, unlike Western movies, Western movies are either drama or comedy or this or action, right? But like, The Iron Monkey was all of it. It was drama, it was comedy, it was action. And that's kind of how I see this thing. Like, this is just a family fun movie. Like, it's gonna warm your heart at the end. Like, oh my god, my heart is warmed, whatever, at the end of the movie. But it's gonna be all of it. You're gonna see it all. Like, in the beginning, you're gonna see this big dramatic action shit, where these Scandinavians are like, our balls may be smaller than yours, but not, right? And yeah, no, but then after that, all these Scandinavian people again are gonna be the comedic relief. They're gonna be the comedic relief to all this other stuff that's happening. Anyways, let's set up the second story. So, in this first story, again, Loki is the only one who knows how to make beer. And again, this story is gonna like the series of stories. I think there's gonna be a series of them. But the series of stories is it's gonna focus around Thor, right? Now, Thor is going to want to know how to make beer, but Loki's not going to want to teach him, right? Because he doesn't want the competition, right? And Loki's bar is not called the Halls of Valhalla. So in this first story, you're not even going to see the Halls of Valhalla, but you're going to see the spirit of the Halls of Valhalla, right? But Thor, right? And Thor is the nephew of Loki, right? But Loki sees Thor as a threat, right? He sees that Thor is more intelligent than Odin, and he doesn't want to teach him how to make beer, so he's not going to teach him how to make beer. And so Thor's going to get frustrated, and that's going to end up in the second movie. In the second movie, you're going to have, and this movie's less developed than the first, obviously, but because I haven't written any of it out yet. But in the second movie, Thor's gonna go on a quest to learn how to make beer because he's gonna just get so frustrated with his uncle that he's gonna be like, "Fuck you! I'm gonna go out there and find someone to teach me to make beer." Right. Anyways, he's gonna end up in France, and like in the first story, it's giants versus short people. But I think in this story, it's gonna be a bit more complicated, right? Because you're gonna have giants versus short people, but you could have some giants on the short people's side, and you're gonna have some short people on the giants people's side, and it's not gonna be as cut and dry as the first story. And there's gonna be lots of dramatic shit happening. And again, this is the real world, so Thor is gonna head into France. So that all of this second story is gonna be happening in France, and you're gonna have giants and short people, and giants, giants fighting short people, and giants fighting giants, and short people fighting short people. But there's gonna be one guy who knows how to make beer, and he's gonna, RPG moment, right? Like, I'll teach you how to make beer if you go do something for me, right? Um, so again, totally not as developed as the first story, but at the end of the second story, like one of the things that we can do in the second story is that a giant can become friends with Thor, in this story, and Thor is going to become friends with short people from France too. Um, but I mean, it's not about like demonizing the giants or whatever, and glorifying the short people, the short Scandinavians. Um, but you're gonna have this giant who becomes friends with Thor, and I think it's a fun story. Like the guy who knows how to make beer is gonna be one of the short French people. Um, but I mean, there's a lot of a lot of opportunity for just good story within this second story. And at the end of the story, Thor's gonna learn how to make his own beer, right? And he's gonna go back to Scandinavia, and you can just quickly put this out at the end of the story, because again, the focus of the story is gonna be happening in France. But at the end of the story, like Thor's gonna go back, and he can go back to like with his giant friend and some French friends and shit, and he's gonna start up his own competition to uh, Loki, right? He's gonna defeat Loki, right? Where he's gonna be able to put out higher quality stuff. And again, I don't think there's gonna be like money in this. There's gonna be bartering and shit, but through bartering, Loki's gonna be able to like Loki's a merchant, right? Like through bartering, Loki's gonna be able to like own like this entire Scandinavian society. But then Thor comes in, and now he knows how to make his own beer. So he starts up his own bar, right? Which has better stuff at a cheaper bartering price, right? So and of course, Thor's bar is going to be called the Halls of Valhalla. So, but anyways, like after that, like I think Thor could totally go into like southern Mediterranean and maybe meet up with Hercules, right? And Hercules isn't not gonna be this god like demigod figure. He's gonna be a normal badass human being, just like Thor. And they can get into adventures, but then Thor can like head to Egypt, right? And just like whatever. And then maybe India and Japan or China or something. There's a lot of potential for this because it's just I don't know. Like again, it goes back to this Iron Monkey thing. It's just all comedy and action and drama all together, and it's just almost not serious, but it is, right? And so, just family fun time, I think, that these stories would be. Um, and I love like just dramas or actions or comedies or I'm not condemning focusing on one. It's all just fun shit. No, it is.